Hello everyone, hope you're all okay. It is a pretty wet and gloomy Wednesday morning. I've just left the swimming pool, just doing a little rotation, swimming, sauna. Worked up a decent appetite and got chatting with some people in the sauna, and we were just talking about each other, and the topic got onto me, and when they found out that I lived in my van, they had quite a few questions, and I noticed that they're the exact same questions that most people ask me. So I thought I'd make a little video, regularly asked questions and the answers to those questions. I'm a CLT installer. CLT stands for cross-laminated timber. CLT is a building material that is created by compressing many lengths of timber together at once, and they form these huge sheets of timber, anything from 80mm to 300-400mm thick. They cut doorways, service holes and windows out of them. They put half laps on the side of them and they turn up on an Arctic, and we build buildings out of them. We make everything from blocks of flats, schools, houses, student accommodation. We did a little nature reserve eco building a couple of years ago, and it's a job that takes me all around the country and sometimes outside the country. We also use a lot of steel, oak, glulam, larch. I work with people from all over the world, and I'm self-employed, so with enough notice I can pretty much come and go as I please. And I've been doing it on and off for about 12-13 years. The potential to save money is much higher living in the van when your cost of living is dramatically less. Obviously, you can save a lot more money, but instead of just continuing to go to work 5-6 days a week, 12 months of the year, instead of doing that, what I do is I work for a few months and I have a few months off, and I work for a few months, have a few months off. I like to have a little fund just in case things go bad. Maintenance and fixing things in the van when things go bad, things go wrong, like at the garage costs and stuff, can be quite pricey. So I'll have an amount of money that I think is enough money, just absolute get me out of trouble money, and I'll save that. And once I've got that in the bank, then I literally just work a couple of months, have a couple of months off. It's actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to live in a van in the first place. I'm not lazy. When I go to work, I graft, but I don't believe that we were put on this earth to work, and the chances of me ever being a millionaire are quite slim. But if you just, instead of trying to earn more money, just live as modestly as possible, you can afford a lot more for a lot longer. There's lots of things that I do without, but it affords me time, and you can't earn time. Obviously you've got your fuel, depending on how far you want to travel or what you're up to. Food costs. I've got a diesel heater, which runs off of heating oil, diesel or red diesel if you can get hold of it. It's got a 10-litre tank, and I have probably filled that tank up easily less than 10 times, easily. Gas, which runs the oven and the hobs. The first gas bottle I had was it was either a little 5 or 7.5, I think it might have been a cube. It was one for patio heaters, I think, and that lasted me well over a year and a half. I've now got a 15 kilo one. I don't expect to be changing that for a couple of years. That cost me about 40 quid. Not really bills, don't really get bills. Obviously I don't pay council tax. I'm paying no one rent, I pay no mortgage. You could want to go travelling for a couple of months, you still got to be chucking rent payments in, mortgage, council tax, you've still got to pay the bills. It's not the same in a van. you can save up a bit of money. You just leave the van in England and jump on a plane if you want, or you can just get on the ferry and drive there. It's not bleeding you, except for when it breaks, and then she kicks you in the nuts. I had last year or the year before, I had the exhaust manifold, a couple of wheel bearings, the turbo, and a steering rack all needed to be replaced within the same 2 months, and that was well over £5,000, and that hurt, mate. That hurt. Van insurance and tax are paying a $1, so they're not like a monthly thing. On and off for the last 3 years. I say on and off because there's been plenty of times where either the van's been in the garage, I've not stayed in the van, I've got digs, or I might have gone and stayed at my mum's over Christmas time, or I spent the first I spent the first 2 winters in the van, and we were working over the winter just gone. We were working in a city, and there isn't always a great place to park my van, and that particular job was like 5 or 6 months, and the firm that I worked for, they get you accommodation. So yeah, I stayed in accommodation for the whole of that job, and I'm considering staying in accommodation on the next job, because we're going to be working in Cardiff. We're actually working in Cardiff city centre. There's parking restrictions, height restrictions everywhere. I'm going to see what the accommodation area is like and whether I feel safe leaving my van there, and I'll probably just stay in my van at the weekends on that job. I have a postal address. Any corporation or entity that asks me for my address, I will point out that I have a postal address, and most of the time they just say yeah. Sometimes they ask me to elaborate, and I'll say I don't live there, I don't have a fixed address, but yeah, if you want to reach me by post, I have a postal address. If they don't question why I've said postal address, then I will just leave it at that. Most of the time when you're talking to people like that, you're talking on the phone, the telephone's been recorded, you've said it, you've covered your own back by saying it's a postal address. If they've not asked for you to elaborate on that, then there's no need to push it. The gym. Not only do I shower at the gym, but I get to use the gym. And if you get yourself a membership at a leisure centre, then obviously you've got the sauna, the jacuzzi, steam room, depending on what facilities they've got. Most gyms will try their very best to get you on a direct debit, monthly thing with a minimum term of like a month or 2 months or whatever. If you go into any gym and tell them that you're visiting on an undetermined contract and you don't know how long you're going to be there, you could get a phone call and be asked to leave, but you'd like to use the facilities, 9 times out of 10 they'll tell you that they offer a tourist pass, which is just a prepaid card, and yeah, you pay that and you're a member. Also, some gyms will, even for a small fee, just let you use the shower. Might charge you £1 or £2 and you can just use the shower. Loneliness is an emotion that you feel when you feel emotionally disconnected, undervalued. It's got nothing to do with being around people. Yeah, I get lonely, but I'd rather get lonely once or twice a month than to be in company with people that confuse and frustrate me and be angry once or twice a week. Yeah, that's the true answer. If I had it my way and it didn't hurt people's feelings, if I had it my way, I would happily maintain friendships and relationships with a 1 month, like a monthly phone call where I just rang the people that I loved and said, is everyone at your house safe, well, fed, happy, clean? If the answer is yes, I'll be like, right, I'll speak to you in a month. You know, if there's something bad happening and people need me, then I'll happily come to help. But I feel guilty for this, but I quite often, when I go and visit people, I quite often, within 2 minutes of my backside touching the sofa, I quite often just think, what is a polite enough amount of time before I can just leave and carry on with my life? I've got quite used to being in my little bubble, and I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive to picking up on people's changes in their behaviour, their mood, their tone of voice, their body language. Also, that sounds mental, but also when I'm on my own, I'm quite level. When I'm around other people, I really feel like I need to feed off of their emotions. So I'll quite often just act the prat, say stupid things, try way too hard to make people laugh, because when I see them smile, I take it. It fills me up, and that's what I use as an energy source to like get through that interaction. I will say and do anything to make anyone laugh, and it's purely selfish. It's for me, because I need it. I cope very well. I often get messages from my friends when it's icy outside and cold, sharing their concerns for me, which I appreciate. But I've got to be honest, I'm quite often sat in here quite smug. This living area is about 1700 millimeters wide, and it's just over 3 meters long, and I've got a 3 kilowatt diesel heater with 100 mil of insulation all the way around me. Anywhere I want, I turn up when it's dark, and I try and leave before it gets light. I'm not loud about it. I don't have the sliding door open or try not to make any noise. I've got my chill out spots, and then I've got my spots where I will drive to with the intention of going to sleep. And once I close those two blackout thermal curtains, no one can see any light getting out. People don't know I'm in here. There's no decals or windows on the side of the van, and I just lay in bed, bit of Netflix, YouTube, whatever, and I go to sleep. And I try and turn up and leave, undetected. I know it sounds a bit creepy, but it's the best way to be stealthy, and that's the point of it. No, thankfully I have never been moved on. I believe that I do quite a good job of being as stealthy as possible. Like, even when mates say to me, oh, I saw your van up, do you stay up there? If so, next time I drive past, I'll come and tap on your van and we'll have a cup of tea. Yeah, no, that spot's dead to me. I won't go back to that spot for a while. You know, feeling of anxiety, thinking that someone could just tap on the van, and obviously I've got no window in here and you wouldn't know who it was. Anything that you do in the privacy of your own home, I could be doing in here. So random, unscheduled, bangs on the door, they're not welcome, mate. And you might not want to see what I'm up to in here. Yeah, it smells. I just told you I do my business in a bucket in the middle of the room. Try it at home. Get a little bucket, put it in the middle of the room, and shit in it. It'll smell. It'll smell like shit. It'll smell like someone's put a bucket of shit in the middle of the room. Yeah, it smells. But I can undo my sliding door, open the top vent, air the van out. I can undo the curtains, let the windows down, drive up the road 100 yards, and it blows it all out. It always amuses me that people always ask that, does it smell? Yeah, it smells. It smells like shit.